As you know, the government of Israel strongly opposes President Biden's plan to reopen a U.S. consulate for the Palestinians in Jerusalem, a controversial plan that would establish a second competing U.S. mission in Israel's capital city. The Trump administration followed the law, namely the Jerusalem Embassy Act of 1995, by recognizing Jerusalem as Israel's eternal and undivided capital. That happened in 2017. And then by moving the U.S. Embassy from Tel Aviv to Jerusalem in 2018. The Trump administration also closed the U.S. consulate to the Palestinians and merged its functions into the U.S. Embassy's Palestinian Affairs Unit under the Chief of Missions authority of the U.S. Ambassador to Israel. President Biden's proposal to open a second U.S. mission in Jerusalem would begin to reverse the recognition of Jerusalem, and it would divide Israel's eternal and undivided capital city. Yesterday, I led a group of 36 senators to introduce a bill that would protect America's full and faithful implementation of the Jerusalem Embassy Act of 1995. And it would ensure that there is only one U.S. mission, a U.S. embassy to Israel, that exists in Israel's capital city of Jerusalem. Deputy Secretary McCowan, I just want to confirm something on the record. Is it your understanding that under U.S. and international law, the government of Israel would have to provide its affirmative consent before the United States could open or reopen the U.S. consulate to the Palestinians in Jerusalem? Or does the Biden administration believe it can move forward to establish a second U.S. mission in the Israel capital city of Jerusalem without the consent of the government of Israel?
Senator, that's my understanding, that we need the consent of the host government to open any diplomatic facility.
That's my understanding as well, yet I don't understand that as the intention of this administration. So I appreciate you being on the record clarifying that that's a requirement. I know this isn't necessarily your decision, you'd be an implementer here, but the State Department should know that Congress has enacted laws that mandate that the United States should recognize Jerusalem as the eternal and undivided capital of Israel, and that it shall take all diplomatic steps to effectuate this recognition. Opening a second U.S. mission in Israel's capital city of Jerusalem will start to reverse this process. My next question, Deputy Secretary McCowan.
Briefly, Senator, there's no intention to move the U.S. Embassy from Jerusalem.
I want to make certain that's the case. We voted 97-3 to make certain that that was the case.